How are you guys?
Another 5 contracts, right? I mean, it seems to be like routine now. What's the feel after a night like tonight where you got another 5?
Not everybody. You know, it sucks when Stipe calls and says, you should sign this kid. I believe in him. And I got to say, I don't think he's ready. So, yeah, I think everybody who got a contract tonight deserved it. Jasmine fought her ass off. She literally just told me over there, I'm here for the next 2 weeks. If you need me for the next show, I'll turn around and fight. She's like, this shit will clear up in 2 days. So I definitely made the right decision on that one. Jack, I think Jack is special. I think this guy can really do something here. I liked everything that I saw. And like I said, he didn't show a little bit, he showed a lot of everything. I mean, you got to see this guy everywhere. And obviously, Lusa is a tough, durable guy who kept coming. And Jack had an answer for everything. Lucas, you could say, you know, but it's not like we have an abundance of heavyweights around here. So when you look at what the criteria should be to get in here, that kid did everything he was supposed to do. Kept coming forward, was exhausted, kept trying to finish, whether it was punching or on the ground, secured the choke. Whether you think the kid, you know, the fight shouldn't have been stopped because the kid didn't tap. He was going to tap or go to sleep. There's no way he was getting out of that choke. Albert, how do you not sign that guy, right? You do. Then you get to Mo and Brandon. Again, 2 undefeated, talented kids that I think we're going to see again. We'll see them both soon, just not tonight. And then how do you not take Almeida? I mean, that was an incredible performance that guy put on against an undefeated fighter.
Yeah, you know, with Albert, like you said, a guy that you can't. I mean, you had to sign that guy, right? He was already calling out top middleweights. I mean, would you be willing to?
Yes.
If he's, hey, I'll fight those top guys.
That's what I want to see. Well, if you look at him and look at his record, he is. Oh yeah, this is going to go one page at a time. Of course it is. You know, the guy's 14-2 now. Guy's 14-2. Just fought a guy 9-0, undefeated, and put on a clinic. Was not afraid to wrestle with him. Took him right down. You know, this guy's a savage on the ground. So who couldn't you match him up with right now in the UFC? I actually am excited to see how he looks against some of our guys. Yeah. And when you think about that weight class, it's nice to have another new exciting guy in that division.
I did want to ask you about Miller because, like you said, I mean, a little bit raw, but, you know, early in his career, but he did show some talent. So is he, like, what ultimately lets you say, yeah, he's undefeated, he's young, but we're just going to let him go because then he might end up somewhere else, right?
No, he will. He will end up somewhere else. And I think if you're another promoter, Bellator, PFL, whatever, and you're not watching this show, you're out of your mind. This is the show you should be watching. And the guys that we don't necessarily take, like this kid, is somebody that you should seriously look at taking.
I think it's the first time I've heard negative feedback of this series and the whole thing. For a couple weeks, some fans have been saying it's too many contracts. Now I'm not as excited by it because the stakes don't seem as high. Do you see any of that at all?
No, I don't read any of that stupid shit. I literally don't read any of that. Yeah, too many contracts. The stakes aren't as high. I mean, I just went through the list with you guys again. Tell me who I shouldn't have given a contract to. Yeah. Anybody?
The only one is Lucas, but he's a heavyweight and you need heavyweights.
Yeah. I mean, Lucas is, and even if, let's say we had heavyweights, okay? Let's say we had tons of heavyweights. There's so many heavyweights, we have like the 55-pound division, right? You got this whole stacked division and most people weigh that weight. What did that kid not do tonight? You know, Dylan Potter has the fucking chin from hell. And this kid showed up to win tonight. This kid is durable, tough, and wanted to win. Kept coming forward. Lucas hit him with bombs that he took. He never stopped trying to finish the fight, and he did finish the fight. It's unfortunate that the ref called it before the tap, but you could see how on the inside the ref could make that mistake too, and that kid wasn't getting out of that choke. So what did Lucas do to? So so let's say that's the case. I gave out one more contract than I should have, but it's not the case. It's not true. This kid deserves to be here, and he'll get his shot.
So just a couple of quick ones for me. We had a new ring announcer tonight, and Justin Bernard. Just curious your thoughts on is he around to stay and what you thought of
yeah, he did a good job tonight. So I wanted to bring him in because Little Miss wants to do everything, can't do everything. So, and if you had to look at Laura and all the things that she's strong at, that's probably the least. And I don't think it's her favorite thing to do. So the other great thing about the Contender is we can try lots of different talent in here. And, so we started looking at guys. We looked him up yesterday and had him come in and read some lines today, and we gave him a shot.
Fantastic.
He did good.
Last thing, a couple of real international flavor to the card tonight, right? I mean, a lot of international talent being brought in. Obviously, we know COVID. I'm just curious, do you have any update on when the UFC might be able to start hosting international cards again, outside of Abu Dhabi, of course?
No, I really don't know. And it's not like everything's starting to get more normal. It's all getting weirder by the day. So I don't know. We'll just see how this all plays. I'm not, like I told you guys, probably haven't talked about this in a month or so, but whatever. I don't care. We got this place here. We got Abu Dhabi. We got Texas. We got Florida,
Arizona.
Yep, Arizona. I'm cool with that, Yeah, it'd be great, It'd be great to do, some of these fights in some of these other destinations in the world and in the United States, but that's just not a reality right now. And it's not anything that New York's a stretch. You know what I mean? We're still working on New York.
Is there any concern that one might not happen?
No. Every time I start to think that maybe not, everything gets worked out.
Nice.
I see Madison Square Garden happening and going through with it.
Last thing for me, I did want to ask if you'd had a chance to speak with either Conor McGregor or Machine Gun Kelly after their incident at the MTV Video Music Awards.
I think that it was just, I talked to both, actually. They're all good now. Misunderstanding or whatever it was, but I saw, too, that, I think TMZ grabbed Conor today, and Conor told him there's no problem with them.
Does it concern you at all with Conor? I mean, obviously he's still a long way away from being able to fight anyway, but, throwing drinks on a red carpet at a rapper.
Guys, this is the fight business. I got 700 fucking lunatics under contract here. What do you guys think? I mean, these are the things that happen sometimes. We're in a crazy. This isn't Microsoft, okay? We're in a crazy fucking business here. We're in a crazy business, and I think we all know Conor's personality, and we got some guys that are like that. These guys are fighters, and this is the fight business, and crazy shit happens in the fight business. And there's all the shit that you guys know about because it happens in public. Never mind the shit that you don't know about that happens every day.
I wanted to ask you about Jack. He lost his first 2 fights and then came back on this winning streak. Do you like seeing that?
I love that.
Shows a guy has resilience and can come back.
Love it. Let me tell you what. When you lose your first 2 fights in a row and then you're like, I should probably keep doing this and I'm going to be great someday, that's a special kind of person that does that.
His fight was amazing. I don't know if you guys do this, but maybe is there unofficially some bonuses that can get out to those sort of fights?
No, it's never happened. But believe me, the last few weeks I've been sitting here going, Jesus Christ, that would have been a $50,000 winner. That would have been a $50,000 winner. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough with the Contender Series because these guys are fighting for the opportunity to get in. But who knows? Maybe I will do that this season or next. But yeah, there's some fights that are just every Tuesday when guys, and I told you guys, I ran over to you guys, the matchmaking on this show is fucking unbelievable. The matchmaking on this show is incredible. Sean and Mick do an amazing job, and these guys are dealing with COVID and all these other things that go on, injuries that happen for these fights. And when we come in here every Tuesday, and like I say, members of the media that cover the sport, could you ask to go to a better fucking fight on every Tuesday? It's incredible. It's just, I know me and the way that I'm built. If I was still a fan sitting at home, I wouldn't miss one fucking minute of this shit. It's so good.
So you actually took my next question. I was going to ask, is the secret to good promotion good matchmaking?
Yes.
Is that the secret behind everything and perhaps something that your competitors could learn from?
It's the secret to everything. It's the key ingredient to this business. I mean, it's all about the matchmaking. And it's about the best fighting the best. And not only do we do that in the UFC, that's what we do. You take the best kids available in these weight classes and match them against each other to find out who belongs here or gets a shot here anyway. And it's unbelievable.
With Mo Miller, he didn't get a contract tonight. Do you think a part of that is because he was such a heavy favorite and that kind of went against him?
No, not at all. I think that when you look at both of those kids, they're both 5-0 coming into tonight. Take the odds out of it. You could tell that they're both talented and they both, are going to be around and we're going to see them again. You just know that they're not ready. They're not ready now. You take Miller's performance tonight. You put him in against somebody with decent takedown defense, unbelievable leg kick, stand up. He's in for a rough night. And tonight both of those kids learned a lot from each other and know what they need to go home and work on. But you can tell that the kid's an absolute stud athlete, and and somebody will pick him up, and he's undefeated. He's undefeated. He's 6-0, and he just got a ton of promotion being on this show. So he'll end up somewhere, and then eventually he will end up here.
Cool. Last thing from me, and I know how much you love these questions, but it's a commission question. Last weekend, Triller had an event, and they advertised those fights as professional fights. And then the day after it comes out, Dan Raphael reports that actually they were exhibition fights. Do you think a commission has a responsibility to the public to say, actually, these guys are advertising something that you're not paying for to get?
Guys, let me put it to you this way. Anybody who's fucking dumb enough to willing to pay and watch these fucking fights, Anderson Silva boxed Tito Ortiz. Boxed Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz has no business fucking boxing anybody. Okay? And Tito's 40 fucking something years old. Evander Holyfield's almost 60 years old and he's fucking fighting. It's just I just think you know what I think of this shit. It's silly. All of it's silly. There's always going to be a certain amount of people that are dumb enough to buy these fights and pay for them. And I'm not and let me say this too. Anderson Silva. We honestly need to start talking again about this guy as the GOAT. Okay? Not Tito, because he knocked Tito out in 40 fucking seconds, but you know what? He did to Tito exactly what should be done to Tito. Knocking Tito out in 40 seconds is what should have happened in that fight. Anderson Silva beat Chavez Jr. At 40 what? 44, 45 now? What is it?
46.
46? 40 fucking 6 years old. He now left this sport, which he was, considered one of the greatest of all time, possibly even the greatest of all time, goes out, beats Chavez Jr. in a boxing match, and knocks Tito out in 40 seconds. And you know what I think of Tito personally, but, and Tito can't box. Tito's a horrible boxer. That's why I said I would box him. You ever see me saying I'll fight any other fucking guy in the UFC? No, and I never will and never would. 10 years ago I wouldn't, but I would Tito all day long. But the other thing about Tito is when Tito fought here, Tito had a good chin. Tito took big shots from a lot of guys who hit hard. Anderson Silva knocked him out in 40 seconds. Anderson Silva might actually be the GOAT of combat sports. I mean, to still compete, it'll be interesting to see what he does next. I fucking guarantee you this. You ain't going to see Jake Paul calling Anderson Silva out. That I fucking promise you. He's his size, and he's actually good. He's old, which is what Jake Paul likes to fight old guys, but he likes to fight old guys that are too small and and that are absolutely positively washed up. So yeah, I know I didn't answer your question, but That's my rant for all that fucking silly shit today.
We'll take it. Thank you.
All right.
Just jumping on that, I guess since you ended with the Jake Paul, I guess I'll start with that, even though I wasn't going to bring it up. George Masvidal was kind of jawing back and forth with him.
Masvidal's under contract with me.
Well, you said he is under contract.
Yeah.
Right, that's the thing, and you got Jake over here just saying, well, just get Dana, let you out. Let Dana, let you fight him. Is at some point, do you want to bring a ringer in to take the kid out?
Hey, Jake, Anderson's out. Anderson Silva's out. Jake?
I love it. Speaking of the matchmakers and some of the stuff that the great stuff that they've been able to put together, do they go into the season? Do you guys get together and say, guys, this is kind of what we're looking for this season to try to bring in? Or do you just say, guys, bring me fun, just bring me enjoyment? Or do you guys sort of look at the divisions and say, if we can, these are the areas we maybe need to just thicken up a little bit?
No, I mean, coming out of COVID and what's happened and the amount of shows that haven't happened in the last 2 years, we're just looking for whatever talent is available right now that is the best talent available in whatever weight class it is. Yes, it would be more dialed in if the world was a normal place right now, but it's not.
And then tonight we saw, I think for the first time, women this season. Is that something, I think that's probably another area where a lot of people are saying, oh, they could probably, definitely try to find some new talent to help fatten up some of the divisions. Is that something that we're going to see more as the season goes on as well?
Did you say women?
Yeah, women fights.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're always looking for female talent. Yes. The answer to that is yes.
Okay. And then one of the last ones for me, just jumping in, I know you probably talked about it recently, 266, we get to see the return of Nick Diaz. Is this a fight that you're looking forward to seeing him back fighting again and all the fun that he brings in a fight week?
Yeah. And obviously him and Robbie Lawler is the fun fight to make to come back. So, yeah, I think a lot of people are excited about that.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Bye.